The movement for a female led society. We are beginning this right now. This is a brand new era. This is a brand new beginning. The tide has finally turned. It is our time. It is a time for women to take our rightful places as leaders. I am T. Erica Patterson, the founder of our new female led society. I will be initiating and instigating this transition, and I look forward to seeing this world transform into a world that celebrates and embraces and enjoys world peace. So, how can we finally establish world peace? Well, I created a book called A Manifesto for a Female Led Society that outlines my plans to create a world that is peaceful, progressive, and inclusive. So, let's talk a little bit about the major ideas that I've created that will provoke or ensure world peace. What is world peace? Let's establish that first. World peace is the concept of an ideal state of happiness, freedom, and peace within and among all people and nations on earth. There is no war, there is no violence among citizens. Citizens are happy, and progress is consistent. Wouldn't you like to live in a world like that? I know I would. I know there are some people who would not. They like drama, they crave it. It makes them feel excited, it makes them feel satisfied about their dreary existence if they see other people engaged in drama and pain. But I imagine a world where I am free to be great and I am focused on creating amazing things that add to this world. I'm loved and I'm feeling loved and I'm loving everybody freely. There's no fear. I'm not afraid of men. Men are not trying to out to get me. There's not a battle between the sexes. There's no power struggle. Everybody's collaborating together for the sake of our humanity. And I believe that it can happen. And how can it happen? Well, let's talk about that. What prevents world peace? Let's talk about that for a minute. What do I think prevents world peace? Well, nationalism. I believe that the fact that this world is divided into nations gives everyone a reason to judge the other because they're competing. The national competition, who's better, who's best, who's doing better, where are you from, where am I from, are it's like gang wars to me. Everybody wants to claim they're from somewhere else, and in relation to claiming where they are, they want to feel like they're superior to the other place. So I believe nationalism is something that prevents world peace because we're all not recognizing that we're here on the same earth. We're all the same. We're trying to establish our differences and superiority over each other. I believe once we get rid of nationalism, we will see a improvement in our overall attitudes and engagement with each other and acceptance of each other. What else prevents world peace? Gender roles. Oh, yes, honey. Gender roles prevent world peace. Why? Because when you look a person in the eye, a child in the eye, and you tell them you're supposed to behave like this, you can't do this, you can't do that because of your genitalia, you're limiting their freedom of expression of who they are, their love for themselves. You're putting them in a box and you're saying you must stay there for your entire life. You cannot enjoy yourself freely the way you want to enjoy. You can't love who you want to love. You can't dress how you want to dress. You can't speak the way you want to speak. You can't enjoy careers that you want to enjoy. You must act this way. You're imprisoning people based on their genitalia. Society's prescribed gender roles are preventing world peace because once you imprison people based on their genitalia and they can't be free inside their own bodies, even though they have full governance over their bodies, they're going to act out and lash out violently to those around them. So we wonder why we have so many rapists. We wonder why we have so many murderers. We wonder why we have so many abusive relationships. These people aren't free to be who they want to be, and they're going to act out because of it. And I believe it's expressly because of these socially prescribed gender roles. We need to eliminate those. Patriarchal society and the masculine model of leadership. Let's talk about patriarchy. Everybody loves to say in the patriarchy, castrate the patriarchy, all these cool and cute and marketable terms about patriarchy, but the truth is patriarchy was set up to help men define their roles in this world. Why? Because men needed help being defining what they were supposed to do. They were clueless. So you have to tell a man, hey, you're supposed to act like that. You're supposed to be this way. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to lead. Oh, I'm supposed to do that? And also, patriarchy was set up to help protect a man's leadership, because if that was not in place, then women would naturally rise to the forefront of society and become leaders. Because I believe women naturally are the leaders and motivators of all society. But mandating that men be leaders by default just because of their genitalia is not only detrimental to our our society in general, because just because he's a man doesn't mean he's the best qualified leader, but it's also detrimental to the men who don't want to lead. You put a man as the head of the household who doesn't really want to be the head of the household, he's going to be abusive to his wife because he doesn't want to do it. And he prefers she stand up and overpower him. So he's abusive to her. So trying to provoke her to overpower him. And he's abusive to the world around him when all he really wants is the loving arms of a woman who will take the reins and say, I got this. Not every man is cut out to be a leader. Some are. But when we place it as a default, as an automatic expectation, we're hurting people intrinsically. The masculine model of leadership goes right along with patriarchy, because the masculine model of leadership basically expresses that you must conquer, control, dominate. If you're a masculine man, then you overtake the situation. If you're a masculine man, then you defeat the enemy. Why are we defining people as enemies anyway? And why do we need to win so badly? Why is there such a big power struggle? That is the definition of the masculine model of leadership, the struggle for power and dominion, when we should be collaborating. These two things definitely contribute to our lack of world peace. Capitalistic greed and competition. Let's talk about that. Okay, along with the masculine model of leadership, we have this system set up where the more money you make, the more power you have. Well, the more money you make, the more people you are employing, and the more people you can step on, and the more control you can have over our society. And that's not always a good thing, because everybody who has the skills to create a lot of income doesn't mean they have the heart to be a leader, which they are by default when they have a lot of money. There are people out there who actually believe that genocide is a good thing. Selective breeding is a good thing. And they have money, so they are out there putting systems into place where they are trying to create a master race. Just because you have money doesn't mean you're an effective and appropriate leader for our society. But we're taught that success equals being wealthy. We're taught that success equals having the most things. Everybody secretly believes that success means having a big house, having a fancy car, and having other people admire you. That's capitalistic greed. And in tracing that greed, you're going to feel that you have to compete with everybody around you. You're not going to be happy. How can we create a peaceful society when nobody's intrinsically happy because they have to compete with everybody around them? I must look better than her. I must have a bigger house than him. My car must be nicer than hers. I must be more admired. I must have more followers. I must have more admirers. I must be on this best list. I must be the person that everybody wants to be. This competition creates discord internally and within our society. We can't have world peace when we have this form of competition. Access to weapons. Well, on a basic level, world peace is about not having violence. How can we decrease violence? We need to remove weapons from our general society. Why do we need them? Oh, we need them because somebody's going to try to come and overtake us, overpower us. Somebody's going to try to take dominion over us. That same patriarchal society, masculine model of leadership that we were talking about earlier, that creates the need for weapons. If we got rid of the masculine model of leadership and this patriarchal society, we would not need to defend ourselves because no one will be trying to take over us. And last but not least, what prevents world peace? The disrespect for women. Why is that so linked to world peace? Well, women are the motivators for all progress, the mothers of all society, the air we breathe. When we disrespect women, we're disrespecting ourselves, we're disrespecting our future, we are sabotaging our success. Women who are not respected still grow up to be mothers, but they grow up to give that same anger and hatred to their children. Their children take that pain that their mother passed on to them and they exhibit it out into the world. They in turn become parents and pass along that pain to their children as well. So we got generation after generation after generation of people just hurting each other. All because this one woman was disrespected. She didn't feel safe. She didn't feel cared for. She didn't feel supported. And she's in pain. If we decide that we will respect our women, we'll support our women, we're empowering our women, we are going to change society as a whole. Because I see personally how our relationships with our mothers, our relationships with our lovers, our relationships with our daughters shape everything around us. It shapes our entire perception of our existence. So many people's lives are defined by what their mother thought of them, how their mother interacted with them. But if we're not protecting and supporting our mothers or the women who become mothers, then it's a domino effect and it's not progressive, it's not promoting success, and it's killing us all emotionally. So, how will a female-led society create world peace? I do believe that our female-led society will create world peace. And that is the reason why I created a manifesto for a female-led society, and the reason why I'm leading this movement and putting myself on the line, and my life on the line, and my time on the line, and my dedication on the line to establish this, because I truly believe that this could work. Why? We have one nation world, one nation. We got rid of nationalism. And this one nation where everybody knows and understands that we are all brothers and sisters. We're all in this together. It's not separate gangs from different lands trying to war and overpower each other. This is one nation with one loving female leader. One person that you can trust. One person you know when they have the final say, it's going to be what's in your best interest. And you're going to feel good about their final decision. Gender roles are redefined. Yes, we still want to define ourselves. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm a woman, I'm a man, I'm masculine, or I'm non-binary. There's nothing wrong with saying I'm transgender. Nothing wrong with any of those things. However you want to define yourself is your choice. But it's not going to be mandatory to define yourself or to live according to any of society's prescribed gender role expectations. Our gender roles are now redefined. Who are you? Who you say you are. What do you want for your life? Whatever you say you want for your life. Do you want to follow the masculine model of leadership? Do you want to feel masculine today? Is that who you feel you are? Yes. Do you want to feel another way? Yes, I want to feel a different way. That's acceptable too. Do you want to wear dresses? Go right ahead. Do you want to wear pants? Go right ahead. Do you want to marry a woman? Go right ahead. Do you want to marry a man? Go right ahead. Do you not want to marry at all? Go right ahead. There are no more gender roles and expectations that are mandated in our new society. You have the ability to redefine your gender role. And that creates a kind of freedom that will create world peace and stop people from being violent because they were stuck in a box and having to walk this way when that's not the way they want to walk. Leadership guidelines are protective and inclusive. We've discussed in a previous video the 15 principles of feminine power. Those leadership guidelines and other female-led society guidelines for our community are all protective and inclusive of everyone involved. We're reminded of wonderful concepts like respecting the divinity within each other, viewing each other as though everyone is divine. If your neighbor was divine, if your neighbor was your concept of God, how would you treat that neighbor? Would you be disrespectful? Would you be mean to them? If your concept of God was walking down the street, how would you interact with that person? Imagine a society where we're all interacting with each other as though we are all divine, respectful, courteous, pleasing, pleasant, helpful, protective, inclusive. Principles like see the problem, fix the problem. Imagine every time you saw something wrong, you wanted to do something to make it better instead of being angry that someone else hasn't done it yet. The leaders in our female-led society are real and true leaders, not just ring bearers who walk around talking about the problem, alert, alert, there's a fire, instead of trying to grab a bucket of water and put it out. This one thing, one act is going to create world peace because our leadership guidelines are completely different than the current society's leadership guidelines. The next thing is capitalism will be replaced by pursuit of social innovation. Okay, right now, our definition of success is capitalistic gain. The more money you have, the more power you have. The more money you have, the more admire you have. Everybody trying to win the lottery. Nobody's trying to make sure that our world is functioning and safe and on a great path to progress. But in our new female-led society, capitalism has been replaced by the pursuit of social innovation. Social innovation is creating ideas, concepts, methods, tools, movements that will protect and implement progress in our society. What can we do to make our world better? How can we protect our oceans? How can we protect our forests? How can we protect our animals? How can we protect our mental health? How can we protect and promote brilliance among our young women and young men? Those who are able to provoke social innovation, those are the people that will be elevated to a higher class, a higher social class, because we revere true leaders who take action. And we respect them and we admire them and we want to reward them. Because protecting our world, protecting our society's mental health and mental success is important. And those who take that as their life goal or their career, we want to make sure that they're taken care of, well taken care of. instead of giving the money to the person who can come up with the best trick. Access to weapons are restricted. Yes. No one in our new female-led society will have access to weapons, especially weapons of mass destruction. Why? Because we don't need it. Because there's no one trying to overtake you, overtake your country, overtake your neighborhood. There's safety and peace. We don't need weapons. Aggression will be all but eliminated. When everyone feels loved and protected, there will be no reason to lash out in pain. Weapons will only be provided to the people who have elected to become members of our special forces, which is our team that keeps order if chaos arises, and the same team who offers aid when natural disasters happen or when there are situations where people are in need. These are a team of protectors. And if they need weapons, they will be afforded them. But they will be the only ones who are having weapons in our new female-led society. And last but not least, women are placed on a pedestal, nurtured, and supported. How will this create world peace? Well, just like I explained earlier, when women are disrespected, it's a trickle-down event. It goes from generation to generation, pain passed on to pain and more pain and more pain. And we got to stop it right here. I even see it within myself. The pain that I felt, I've definitely passed on to my children at certain intervals. Thankfully, I'm intellectually aware that I can stop that cycle. Apologize to them. Let them know this is what happened. This is why I was being that way. Because I'm feeling pain. And I want to replace that pain that I just gave you. I want to replace it with affirmation. And I want to remind you that I love you, your purpose, and I'm so glad you came into my life. And I'm glad that you're here and your purpose in this world, and you're great in this world, and you have something to offer this world. And you mean the world to me. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. You are loved. You deserve love. You deserve to achieve every dream that you've ever had. I am amazed that I'm able to witness your growth and to be a part of it. You're beautiful to me. I overpowered that pain that I had passed on. I didn't even know I was doing it, but after I recognized it, I had to stop and correct myself. And I overpowered it with goodness. So when we're implanting these type of thoughts and we're implanting these type of words into the minds of our children, they can't help but give that to everybody else. And if everybody's passing along peace and blessings and empowerment, what kind of world do you think that will be? That will be a peaceful world. But we have to start with nurturing, supporting women. Because the energy that they give out permeates our entire society. Men grasp onto it and take it in as their own energy. So, we've just discussed how to establish world peace according to a manifesto for a female-led society written by me, T. Erica Patterson, the founder of a female-led society. You can find this book on Amazon and flrstyle.com if you want t-shirts and swag for a female-led society and want to learn more about joining this movement. Please visit femaleLedSociety.org. Again, I am T. Erica Patterson. I'm giving you so much education about what our society could be if we stopped, turned in a different direction, took a radical approach, because we're fed up with the way things are and we're ready to see true improvement. It can happen in our lifetime. If we get over this fear of change and decide we're going to make a difference. Let's make a difference today. Join our female-led society at femaleLedSociety.org. Thank you very much.